Welcome back to Legally Screwed.
Mm.
I'm attorney Jeff Kaufman. Like usual, sitting next to me is not only one of the funniest people I know,
I love you.
but one of the most caring, supportive,
Thank you.
and friendly people I've ever met.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Could you imagine that?
I love that.
Put
Thank
that on
you.
your stone one day.
I am going to put that on
There
my
you
stone.
go.
Now, I'm going to ask you a question real quick before
All
we
right.
get started.
Sure.
I've been doing Legally Screwed with you for a while now.
Yeah.
So when do you think I can actually be your number 2 in court?
Wow.
Yeah, come on.
Wow.
I've trained.
You know, I've read a lot.
Okay.
I've taken a lot of sensitivity training. Some voluntary, some court ordered.
Yeah.
Everyone watches TV
We do.
and they think I'd make a great lawyer.
That's what I think.
It doesn't work like that.
Ugh.
The level of control you have to have when you're sitting there because you're mad. You're mad the whole time
Mm-hmm.
because you're there because you believe the person sitting next to you is suffering an injustice.
Okay.
The person on the other side thinks that their person's suffering an injustice. So you have two people, and guess what? One of them's wrong.
Yeah.
One of them's wrong. And the sad thing is, every once in a while, it's you. So you don't get to go, you're out of order. None of that.
So I don't get to do any of that?
No.
Okay.
No. In fact, what
Then-
normally happens is you sit there and you go, okay, now I'll cross-examine this person.
Mhm.
And you're concerned of the jury. There are 6 people who are deciding whether they like you or not. Not whether they think you're funny
If
or
they
entertaining.
like you.
If they like you. And the big mistake people make is they fight and they fight and they fight. And the jury looks at them and goes, I hate this guy. And because I hate him, I hate his client.
Mm.
And you lose when you should have won because you weren't able to control who you are.
So I just learned something listening to you, Jeff,
Yeah.
that you just disproved.
And you learn it through failure.
Got it.
You don't
Getting
learn it
wrong.
through success.
Okay. Gotcha.
I mean, when I was first practicing, I won so much.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought I was invincible. And I thought everything I did was perfect.
Gotcha.
And then you get your ass handed to you.
That one time.
And you lie to yourself, oh, that's just one time.
Mm-hmm.
The more you fail, the more you learn.
I agree.
And
I agree.
even when I won sometimes, but I realized I had screwed up, I go, don't do that again.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do that again. And every time something doesn't work out, I look at it and go, where's the benefit? And then I read and I see and I do. And if you sat next to me, you'd go, Jeff, you'd be grabbing my arm the whole time.
I would be.
I want to say this. I want to say this. I want to say
would
this.
be. That'd be me.
And I'm going,
Yeah.
you don't understand what we need.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of this, I have to prove these 3 things. And if the jury believes all 3 things, because the judge at the end is going to hand them a piece of paper and it's going to go, for example, let's say we're talking about a car accident.
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing the judge said was this person responsible for the accident? Okay, yes.
Okay.
Number 2, if you found number 1,
Yeah.
that they are responsible,
Uh-huh.
then B. If you didn't find them responsible, it's over. Sign here.
We're done.
Okay, so now you got to survive 1. Number 2, was this person's damages caused by the accident?
Mm.
Okay, not that he had these pre-existing conditions.
Got it.
Not that, I don't think he was hurt by the accident. Yes, the person caused an accident, but I don't think he was hurt by the accident.
Okay.
Now, if you find this person hurt, then if you don't find it, then he loses. Okay. Now, if you do find that the damages were caused by this, then 3. What are those damages based by actual costs, not your feelings and everything else like that?
Got
So
it.
now you have the 3rd part.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end, how much?
Gotcha.
That's it. Now, the hard part about it is through the trial, you're trying to find out, they caused the accident, they did this. But if I don't prove that the damages were caused by this accident, or I spent so much time trying to prove you rammed into me that I didn't push this issue, then the jury gets to that second issue and they go, no.
Got it.
The word is called causation, that your problems were caused by the accident.
Mm-hmm.
And you're too busy slugging and trying to show certain things that you forget that there are other requirements that you have to prove. And that's when you get lost in it. And that's why you have to be very, very clear of your goals.
Gotcha.
Not being right or wrong, but being clear with every step. And then convincing that jury you satisfied every step.
And that's not easy.
Now, you will learn that.
Mhm.
You learn that through multiple trials. You don't learn that in your first trial, your second trial, your third trial, your 4th trial, your 20th trial. You normally have to do, I would say, anywhere from 50 to 100 to figure out who you're supposed to be.
That's a lot. Wow.
And then you're constantly working to get better. unless you don't go to trial, and then you don't really care.
Gotcha.
So yes, no, I would never. I would allow you to watch a trial.
I would love that.
And I would love you to sit there and go, and afterwards, and I would ask you, I said, what do you think of that? What do you think of this?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what a good lawyer does. They always want somebody's opinion who's watching something. You go, Jeff, you kind of look like an a-hole. Okay, I got to bring that back.
Pull back.
I got to pull back on that.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, nobody can just walk up and practice law.
But see, listening to everything you just said, you just proved something wrong that I learned in actual high school. You just told me that when you're a lawyer, a lot of it has to do with whether they like you or not. So life is a popularity contest.
Yeah, it is. It is. And
that's crazy. Yeah.
You also have to be very careful. People are prejudiced. They're racist. Jurors are racist. They say they're not. They're told, don't think of it. But I sat on one jury and I listened to what these people said.
What the other ones were saying?
And I was like, God, you racist bastards.
Wow.
They look at the person as he walks in and goes, oh, he did it.
And you're like, how do you know that?
Well, he just looks at, do you see the way he was looking at me? And first off, hot take. You do not know the rules. Oh, they're not supposed to talk about stuff. The judge, you hear it. They're not supposed to say anything. They don't stop talking.
Really?
You go in that back room, they're talking about everything.
Got it.
And I remember looking over at the bailiff. I go, we're not supposed to do this. Bailiff goes, hey, listen, I'm just supposed to make sure you stay in the room.
That's it.
I'm not supposed to. I can't say anything you said. Mm-hmm. I can't take anything back to the judge of anything that happened in this room.
Mm-hmm.
And people don't stop talking. Oh, don't talk about the evidence till it's over. Every second they're talking about it.
Got it.
So don't believe the TV and all this other nonsense. People are going to do what they're not supposed to do.
For a fact, yes.
And there are some attorneys who depend on that.
Okay.
That's why they say things that they're not supposed to say. And when the judge goes, I want the jury to disallow that, and they ain't disallow nothing.
No.
That jury goes, oh, I heard that. Yeah. That guy's a murderer.
I've seen that before where the judge is like, all right, I want you guys to strike that from the record. Everybody forget it.
Nope.
You never forget.
You can't unforget it. I sat there once. I said to the judge, I want a mistrial. Judge, well, I don't think it. I gave them the instruction. Shut up. and there are judges who are looking at me right now. And guess what? You and I both know. You know how they act. You can't take it back. You just don't want to have to rewind this whole thing.
That's right.
And you're doing it because you don't want to have to do it over again. It's going to cost money. You don't want to look bad. And if you're a judge and you have a problem with what I said and you haven't done what I just said, then I'm wrong. But you know you've done it. You've done it more than 20 times. Juries do not forget. They do not follow instructions. The only time they follow instructions is at the end when you hand them that little piece of paper. Nowhere on that little piece of paper goes, this didn't matter, and this didn't matter, and this didn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that's the way it works.
Gotcha. It is time for Legally Screwed, my friend. And we got a great situation going on because I've seen doctors do this.
All right.
Okay. In 2022, I started going to a local med spa for weight loss. Mm-hmm.
I get it.
Injections.
I'm down.
Okay.
Hold on. Started off at 244 in December. I'm 205 right now.
Come on. Yes. Congratulations. You look good, my friend.
I just wanted to live longer for my kids.
Hey, there you go. It's a great reason. A great reason. Well, I started going to that med spa with injections to get you lose some weight. Today, I went to the doctor's Facebook page, and there was a picture of the doctor doing a virtual visit with me. Now, I never signed any consent allowing my pictures to be taken or shared.
Me.
With him, the actual patient, and that doctor on the doctor's Facebook page. I only signed a consent stating that my info could be shared with my PCP. I never told anyone outside my husband or a couple close relatives and friends about what I'd done to lose weight.
Oof.
That's sticky. That's very sticky.
That's not sticky.
It ain't sticky.
That ain't sticky. That's super glue. That's cement.
Got it.
There is no, if you did not sign a waiver,
mm-hmm.
and you did not give permission, that's an absolute no-go.
Okay.
All right. Now, everyone's going to say, get him $1 million.
Something tells me I can't get $1 million.
Depending on what state.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
You get a sensitive jury, you get big money.
Okay.
You get a jury from the walk-it-off state, you ain't get no money.
I love how you put that. That's very, walk it off.
Everyone knows the rules. Mm-hmm. First off, did he do something wrong? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Second question is, what are your damages?
Ooh.
Remember, somebody could do something wrong, but you have to show you were injured.
I just thought of this.
And that could be emotionally too. That's not just physically.
Tell me if I'm wrong. My wife works in a doctor's office, so I hear a lot of different rules they have to adhere to. Let's say that. That's a HIPAA violation.
Normally that deals with records.
Well, here's what I mean. I didn't tell anyone that I was getting treated at your facility, and you just let everybody know that I was getting treated.
Well, is it a HIPAA violation, meaning that it dealt with records or information or...
Information.
And what kind of information? Is your private information that you were solely a client?
He was doing a virtual consultation with her.
I was a patient.
Yes, you're a patient.
I'm a patient. Is that enough to violate HIPAA? That's the argument you're going to have to make.
Do you think it could be?
I think it can be.
So do I.
I don't know if it violates directly HIPAA or your privacy rights or something else like that. Doctors have a certain code where they're not allowed to discuss their patients.
Correct.
So the issue is this, that part of when I go in there is that I have a client, I have a doctor-patient confidentiality.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And by you saying that I am your patient, when I got help, I went to a couple places. I don't want anybody. This is my privacy.
Yeah.
You know, let's make it worse.
Okay.
Penis doctor.
Ooh. Now, if my doctor, first off,
okay. Now imagine that's the video.
Yes.
And my face is on there.
Correct.
Jeff went to I've got a small penis doctor.
That's the best practice name ever.
I'm suing.
Yes.
But then the problem is this. When I sue, that means the whole jury is going to go, it's small penis Jeff.
Yeah. That's why
I don't need that.
That's why he's so angry.
I don't mean it.
Or it can even be darker than that. Imagine.
Okay, but here, we got to go to this level, everyone. Okay. What are my damages?
Yes.
And everyone's going, well, it was embarrassing. Okay, how much? How much is my embarrassment worth?
That's a great question.
And that's what a jury has to decide.
Okay.
Now, some people suffer mentally and they have to go see a therapist and everything else like that. I think it's a case you take. And I think for a doctor, he might write the check on his own, not his malpractice company.
Yeah.
Because malpractice would go, well, he did tell, but what are the damages? And they'll drag it out and they'll go and they'll say, well, so people think this way. Are you married? So why does it matter if you're not? All these variables come in on how you're going to be affected by a picture of you going to the small penis doctor.
But you just violated my privacy. That's basically.
Yes. It's clear that you did something you weren't supposed to do.
Yes.
But what are my damages? And that's where everyone goes, $1 million because they see a billboard. $1 million. No, it doesn't work like that. No. That's why my billboard just say injured. It's real easy. I'm not telling you, because when you come to me, go, what happened? I fell down. Are you hurt? No. I want $1 million. You don't get $1 million. Well, your billboard said $1 million. No, that person doesn't have legs.
No. Yeah, they had their legs taken away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I'm saying in a situation like this, yes, the rights are taken away. Report his ass to the medical board because they shouldn't be talking about your case where you're easily identifiable.
Correct.
Report it to the medical board and, go see an attorney, and the attorney's going to say, all right, well, how do you feel? Well, it just bothered me. Well, we have to file a lawsuit. I'll file a demand for you and I'll see. And a lot of times a doctor will go, yeah, I'll pull it. I'll do these things. But the problem is this, it's already out there.
It's out there.
It's already out there.
Yeah.
Like Hulk Hogan, for example, when people think of big cases, they think of Gawker.
I remember this.
And the Gawker case where he's having sex with his buddy's wife and she's filming it.
Yes.
You know how much he got paid? Stupid money. The verdict was like $160 million, or the judgment was like $160 million or something like that. Just ridiculous money. Even they went bankrupt and he got a portion of that.
Yeah, he didn't get all that. Yeah.
That wouldn't happen in Florida. You would never get that wouldn't happen like, let's say, Orlando. And it wasn't like a popular guy like Hulk Hogan. If it was me, I don't know, I'd probably, if I was lucky, a jury might give me $200,000.
Really?
If I was lucky. Because that's what juries do. Juries go, well, who cares if Jeff got caught on video having sex?
But because he's Hulk Hogan, he's a polarizing public figure.
Yeah, and then people could understand his loss, and they're going, yeah, it cost him this, it cost him this.
Because he could lose potential deals with revenue, sponsors.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
So first off, again, everyone, it's very important. You can be done wrong and not be owed money. Two-prong test. Did somebody do something wrong? And what were your damages? And were damages caused by what he did wrong to you? It makes things easy for you. So in this case, I'm terribly sorry he did this to you. I would light him up. Gotcha. I would light him up.
There you go.
Because this is ridiculously embarrassing, and no doctor should know better. Oh, for my marketing, I embarrassed you.
Ooh.
That's a scumbag thing to do.
That is a scumbag thing to do.